welcome to Worm's Eye View. I thought I would just go through some of the things we've got on our shelves this week. Some of the activities you'll have seen from last week that I had out. They've been really enjoyed, so we're going to continue them. So let me show you. We have the ABC cards, which you'll have seen in a previous video, with the pictures on the other side. So A for apple, B for ball, C for cat. And then we need to find the manipulatives in the basket and add them to the cards. C for cat. So that's the first activity. Okay, so the second activity I have set out, again, you'll have seen last week. It is our four-piece letter puzzles, our four-piece word puzzles. These were really popular last week, so I've just kept them out another week just to extend the learning and just reinforce it. So repetition is really good for reinforcing the learning we've already done. So we're going to join those together, sound them out, f, I, sh, and then find the little manipulative in the basket to match. So new to the shelf this week is some sequencing. Now these are just some cheap sequencing cards that I managed to find on Amazon. I think they were about £3 for the pack. So they have various pictures on them. These are 3 parts, there are some 4 parts. So we start with the 3 parts just because they are easier. And then as we progress, we'll go on to the 4 parts. So it's really just asking children to tell a story while they use the cards to help them work out which order things should go in. So obviously this little boy's making a sandwich with jam or peanut butter. Is that peanut butter? Peanut butter, I think. So we just need to talk through which order he would do things. We say, well, he's taking the bread out of the bag, he's putting the jam on the bread, and then he's eating the sandwich. So we can see that that is the logical order that we'd make a sandwich. But obviously if he mixed them up a bit, or you know, have them in a different order, then we ask the child to tell us the story again, and they say, well, they put the jam on the bread and then they took the bread out of the bag. And we think, well, that can't happen. So we say, well, what do you think they did first there? Shall we swap them around and see if it makes more sense? So they're kind of self-correcting. And they sort of have a logical progress. So sequencing is really good for maths. It's really good for literacy, sort of general knowledge of the world as well. You know, a logical way of thinking, how things work, how things change, how things progress. It's a really good skill to have, and it does help them in later life. And with their learning for school. So again, we have, this one's a snowman, and I thought with all the snow we've had last week, this would be really interesting because some of the children will have made snowmen very recently. So yeah, we have the snowman building. And then the last one I have, which I don't believe is as easy for them to sequence, because seasons are something that rotate, so I don't think there is a start and a beginning really, but I suspect what they are saying is we start with a green tree, then autumn comes, and then the leaves fall from the tree in winter. So on a standalone thing, this would just be quite good for the children to see how the trees change. What I am sort of a bit disappointed that they don't have, but again, this is a 3 card, but they could have made it a 4 card if they had decided to put blossom. So the trees flowering for spring. I think I would have liked that. But the pack, the pack has some lovely cards in it, and I can't remember how many cards you get, but you have quite a lot to work with. So I've just put 3 out at the moment. The other activity we have, which is a Mother's Day card making activity. So I've put some Mother's Day cards out. We've also just got some plain card shapes. We have pens, we've got some hearts that we can glue on, we've got buttons that we can glue on, we have some ribbon to cut. So there's lots of fine motor skill activities there. Whilst we're doing this, we're going to talk about the things that our mothers do for us, things that they, how they love us, how they care for us, all the fun things they do. They play with us. And then if I can encourage each child to just tell me something that they enjoy doing with their mum on Mother's Day. If they can share with me something that they do with their mum, then I can write it in the Mother's Day card. Some of the things are really funny and you just sort of think, well, I'm going to write it, and then you tell mum about it later on and they're like, okay. But children have funny ideas and it's what's important to them. So, yeah, you know, I'll go with it. Whatever they say, I'll write in, and sometimes it's a bit of a surprise for mum. So yes, we're going to work on that. So I need to get the glue stick for that one. We still have our shapes basket out. This is great for my very little ones. They're really enjoying catching the bean bags, and we play catch and we throw the bean bag to them and I say this shape and they look at it and then they throw it back and they copy the word. The older ones are learning some of the harder shapes. So hexagon. Oh, have we got one missing? We've got one missing. There was another shape. I can't remember what it was, but it wasn't one they knew. I have to go hunting for the missing shape. But yes, that's a good. Oh, there it is, pentagon. That was it. I knew there was another shape that wasn't sort of a circle or a rectangle or a star. Okay, so yes, some shape recognition. But whilst we're moving, while we're playing catch, so that for those children that are more sort of learners through movement, then they are matching the knowledge with an action. And a lot of us learn better in a more hands-on physical way. So that really supports them by playing catch and saying the shape as we pass the beanbags to each other. We've been feeding our birds an awful lot over the last week. I mean, we feed them anyway, but we've been feeding them a lot in the last week with the snow we've had. So the bird book is here because we wanted to recognise some of the ones that were coming to the bird table. And then we have their bird calls as well. So we can press that and listen to their bird calls. So we've been doing a spot of that. Oops. It's very big on that shelf. This is just a little basket with some cute scarves in it. Sort of some silks to play with and just some very plain peg dolls. So we have those just on the shelf for them to explore. And as we had last week, we have the Noisy Orchestra book and the sound puzzle with the instruments. That has been a huge hit, and the children have been taking the puzzle pieces, putting them in, and then asking other children what instrument it was and trying to recognise it by sound. So that's been a huge hit this week. So I'm going to leave that out again for them to explore and enjoy for another week. So that, as well as our Mother's Day activity present that we're going to make, is what we have set for this week. And we'll show you more about our Mother's Day present making activity as we do it. Have a good week.